and we were talking about happiness. So I have with us Paul Carvanis, a fellow and former Bay Street lawyer who has become an author, speaker, consultant. So after 12 years, he said, "Mm, let's do something different. Let's have some fun." He wrote the book, The Happy Lawyer, and more book coming out there. So, Paul Mo, welcome to the Dura Delicious Show. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me today.
By the way, you have such a nice, soothing voice. I don't know if you've been told that before, but it's so soothing. I can listen to you. I can listen to your audiobook.
Thank you. Thank you. I did actually record the audiobook. Um, I I say it's thanks to this mic here, which just makes anyone sound wonderful, velvety smooth.
Was it hard to start hearing yourself on audio?
No,
No, you
no,
just
it
like
wasn't.
it.
Yeah, yeah. Just it took a little adjustment, obviously, but and you get used to the fact that you never sound the way you think you sound. But after that,
It's all the same. Okay, I
yeah.
have a question for you. I'm a fellow lawyer. So when I hear the title Happy Lawyer, it almost sounds rebellious. And let me tell you why. Like, I enjoy what I do. I'm all happy. I think I have a good balance. I don't know if that's a thing. But I have so many friends who are always saying, I hate it so much. The money's great, but they're always complaining. And I almost started feeling guilty that I was happy in a way. So, do you think this happiness and law could feel like opposite to many people?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that um, there's an element of us going along with the flow. And so when people are complaining, other people start to complain. And then when you complain, it actually will color your worldview. So I think that there's a self-reinforcing part of this. But I also think that there is the like popular view of a happy lawyer almost as an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, to say that, yeah, you are a bit rebellious for going counterculture and saying, no, I actually am happy in this. I will say, so the Happy Lawyer came out of a project where I interviewed over 100 lawyers,
Mm.
happy, miserable, and everywhere in between. Um, and what I found really interesting was I was always on the more miserable side when I was practicing. And I think I was under the impression that there weren't as many happy lawyers. And as I was doing the project, so many came out of the woodwork. And I wonder if part of it is exactly what you're talking about. They were being given permission to say, actually, I sort of enjoy this.
Yeah. So during your research, what did you find surprising or what surprised you the most?
So I haven't read the full book, but Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy starts with something along the lines of um, every happy family is the same. Every sad family is different in its own way.
Mhm.
And in a way, I almost found something similar that all of the happy lawyers had certain things in common. And so I was looking for the things that would make happy lawyers happy. And I found those in the miserable lawyers too. But what I came to realize was it was almost like an ingredient list. And so the happy lawyers just had all of them. And then the unhappy ones were missing different ones depending on their life context.
Okay. And you come obviously from a family of lawyers and judges, and you went into law. So do you think your path was set in a way when you went into law?
I don't think my parents ever forced it on me.
Mhm.
I do think there was probably an element of subconscious steering that happened. Like, I still remember a conversation with my dad. I was younger, and I was like, I think I might want to be a therapist. And he was like, yeah, I know. I thought so too. And then I thought, who wants to sit around all day listening to other people's problems? And I thought, and then me thinks, oh, that sounds very reasonable. And then as I get older and now I'm a coach and I do talk with people about their problems and I love it. And yet I had just taken his conclusion on life because it sounded so reasonable and assumed it was my own. So I was never pushed here, but I think that there was subtle steering that happened subconsciously for sure.
And funny enough, as lawyers, we do really sit down and listen to people's problems.
Yeah. I uh I ended up I ended up going the corporate route. And so I was sometimes like, yes, I often heard problems, but often I heard about building new things, nice things, right? So it wasn't only problems.
So I think for you, it was you were in the proactive side. I'm a litigator, so I'm on the reactive side where I hear all the problem. No one wants to talk to me.
Yeah.
And no one is ever happy with that. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm happy when I get to solve their problems. So If you were a lawyer, let's say in a world that Paul said, I didn't want to become a lawyer, what do you honestly think you would have done instead?
I mean, the easy answer is I probably would have become a psychologist, right? So the same thing, just my schooling would not have been towards law and before that computer science. I probably would have just gone straight into psychology. I find it pretty fascinating. But I think that might have sold me short because there's so many other interesting things too. Like business is basically like super interesting. It's this really complex puzzle that is sometimes actually really simple. And so being in this space and being able to play not just in the coaching realms, but also in the business side is pretty neat. And I think it gives me like richness to my life that would have been missing had I not gone on the path that I went.
So tell me a little bit, what are you currently doing? So I know you're coaching, you're writing, you have a new book coming out. So give me a
Yeah.
glimpse of your life right now.
The new book, just as a short plug, will be coming out around the end of February. It is The Successful Associate. So it is for associates at law firms to figure out how they become successful, ensure they become successful in a sustainable way. So that's been pretty exciting. Another 50 or so interviews there with managing partners, chief people officers, et cetera.
By the
Um,
way, oh, you gave me such a great idea. This is what I'm buying all my associates now, and we'll have them.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, we'll talk about that offline. I found it really fascinating to jump from one project to another because I did the Happy Lawyer project and then jump to the Successful Junior Lawyer project. And now that that project is sort of starting to be baked with the book coming out, I can feel the impulse to jump to the next thing. And I also want to like give these babies chance to grow up with support, you know? So it is fascinating. So, in terms of what I do, I get to talk to people, whether I'm coaching them or whether I'm interviewing them or whether I'm just networking. I spend most of my time making connections and relationships, which is pretty neat.
And more ideas are born out of these connections, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And do you find that a lot of people stay in careers, whether it's law or in general, that they hate, but they think is just comfortable and successful in a way that other people define successful?
So, 100%, there are lots of people like that. And I think that there's also a subset of those that are in careers they think they hate. But
Mm,
they don't actually hate. They just think they hate it. And the problem is they've lost their feeling of agency. So they don't feel in control. They feel trapped and they hate this feeling of being trapped. And so they put that on the career. This career is the problem. But really, if they just realized they had the agency, they had the freedom, and they could appreciate the things they do like about it, they would probably be happy in that career. So it's actually like when I first start working with someone who's miserable and wants to leave what they're doing, the first step is like, no, because you, wherever you go, that's where you are. And so if you have issues and that is what is causing you to not like what you're doing, switching the scenery is not going to make a difference because you're going to bring all your issues with you.
mhm.
So the first step is disentangling it.
So it's almost like realigning yourself to see the underlying issues that cause the unhappiness.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And I would just say that the realignment is not always easy.
Mhm.
Like for those of us who still use corded headphones, like
Mhm.
the cords, when you stuff it in your pocket, it ends up getting this massive tangle and you pull it out and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do with this? Now, there's one approach where you just grab two ends and you pull as hard as you can. And that normally doesn't work. Usually, what works is you just got to tease it apart, like a little here, a little there, a little. And then as you do it, it starts to fall apart. You get a little more. And I find that unraveling the mess that we put ourselves in is a similar process. We want to do it really fast. We want to just pull it apart and understand it, but you just got to tease it. You got to be patient with it. You got to know that you will get there and that it takes as long as it takes.
So on that topic of patience and taking time, what do you find was the most common mistakes that professionals in general, or maybe unhappy lawyers, make when they're trying to fix their lives, where they're entangling their lives?
So I'd say that the most common mistake is that people don't take action,
Hmm.
is that they just wait for it. and they think that it's going to change. And in some ways, it sometimes does, right? And so when you like slot machines are addictive because they're variable rewards. You don't know when you pull on the slot or whatever the lever whether money's going to come out of the slot. And so for us high performers, oftentimes you can grit and bear it and make it through to the other side of the suffering. And then we see that we start to rely on it and we start to feel miserable in our career. And we're like, okay, this is my approach to suffering. Let me just push through.
Mhm.
When sometimes you just need to make a change. And now the problem is that when you don't make a change, don't make a change, don't make a change, it builds up. And so it starts to be where you believe that only a massive change will do. And massive changes are very scary. And so instead, the idea is start immediately and start as small as possible where it's still meaningful. And so if you are taking these consistent small steps, they are also informing your self awareness as you go. And so you will learn more and your actions will actually be more aligned as you go.
And it's almost you manage expectations in a way, like by saying small, steady steps that you know they're achievable versus like this huge jump that maybe will take time to get there.
100%. I think expectations are their own beast. Like to a certain extent, happiness can be boiled down to an equation: reality minus expectations. If
Okay.
that is a positive number, you're probably happy. And if it's a negative number, you're probably not. And that's why you see people who have an amazing reality and they're miserable, their expectations are too high. And now I'm not advocating that everyone just lower their expectations, but I do want to say that, the narrative that we put out into the world has so much impact on how we view the world and our overall sort of satisfaction and happiness.
You know what? It's interesting. I remember my first trip to Cuba. I was 17 years old. I won't go to Havana. And literally, you see people based on our standards that have nothing. Yet they're always happy and they're dancing and they're enjoying life. And I think that was a viewpoint that it was almost like a juxtaposition in my 17-year-old head, and I couldn't understand it. So it's that expectation, how they live
Hmm.
their lives and how they're happy with certain things versus the way we are.
Well, the gift of that, hopefully, is that it adjusts your expectations, right? Because probably up to that point, you were like, I need A, B, and C to be happy for sure. And then you saw people there without C who were pretty happy. And you're like, oh, well, maybe the formula can look different. And even understanding that it can look different is a super important step to understanding how it looks different.
So if I were to turn to my juniors and I
Yeah.
talk to them about that happiness, what would be the one advice I think I should talk to them about?
So I'm going to answer this. It's going to be slightly longer, but I promise it's all coming to the point. Um, when I did this project, I pulled out all the things that the happy lawyers had in common, realized the miserable ones were missing some pieces or others. The first thing is how happy lawyers got happy. They were aware and then they took action. And the awareness informed their action and made it intentional action. And after they take intentional action, that informs their awareness. So it's a cycle. You lean into awareness, you take a little action, and that informs your awareness. You just keep going. That's how they got happy. And then what they did, there were patterns there too. Some of like the big levers with the most leverage. I think it was Archimedes who said, "Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I will move the world." Right. And so there are levers that are longer, and whether those are your community, the people around you, family, friends, colleagues, whether that is your self-compassion, the voice you use to talk to yourself, these are massive levers. And so I drew this whole model because I'm a visual person. I'm like, I want to make sure that this lands with the other visual people. And I was very surprised that by the time I finished drawing it, just in the way everything worked, that the pursuit of excellence was right in the middle.
Mm.
And it was really interesting to me, and in retrospect, considering the next stopping grounds for me was the successful junior lawyer, what makes associate successful, that the pursuit of excellence was right in the center of the first model. It wasn't my focus, but it ended up being the visual focus of it. And yet it's also the focus of this second step, which is how you be successful. And so I would say your advice to your juniors is get good. Like, don't think about some passion that you have and like you're miserable because you haven't discovered this passion. Because I just don't believe that we have these pre-existing passions that we're fated to either discover and be happy or not discover and be miserable. It doesn't work like that. Our passions are built, not found. So the advice I would give to them is get good. Get good at whatever it is you're doing. Get good as at the important parts of what you're doing. Get good at things outside of your career too, because being good not only gives you the leverage to get so many of the other things you want, it's just so deeply satisfying in its own right.
I know, right? Like sometimes it was funny enough. I think it was a transition part of my life where I became more senior. You know, when you're like the first 5 years, you're still figuring life out, and then you become more senior, you understand. And when people started coming to me and I'm giving them answers, I'm like, oh, damn, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. Hot damn. Yeah.
So I want you to finish my sentence.
You want me to finish your sentence? Yeah.
Gonna finish it. You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Happiness is not about go.
It's not about the ideas that we've inherited from others, especially our parents, about what would make us happy, nor is it about the emotion of feeling happy because emotions come and go. That happiness is ultimately about building our good life and living it well.
So before I we close, what does happy life look to you today versus 15 years ago?
Oh my gosh, 15 years ago, I was a junior lawyer on Bay Street reporting uh, to the top of the sky. I remember finishing a half marathon one Sunday, and it finished right at Queens Park. So I was running up Bay, and I remember looking up at my office and thinking, "I'll see you in a few hours." um, yeah, I think happiness then was just time. And happiness now is the ability to deepen my craft and make a difference in the world. So it is pretty different. Just the growth arc that I go on and we all do, right?
Is that becoming good in any way, whether you're a lawyer or a coach or anything you do, it's that becoming good and becoming better and deepening our
Well,
understanding.
I think I hit a point. I can't remember if it was in fifth or sixth year when I realized I did not care enough about the law to become the best at it. And I do care about coaching enough to become the best at it. I do care enough about business to aim for that. And it's funny, if I put half the amount of effort into law that I have into my business, it would have been crazy, just wild. So, yeah, I think that getting good is its own reward and that we focus so much on the destination, but giving ourselves permission to enjoy the journey is a critical piece of it, you know?
And I love that. And we wish you the best success with your new book and your upcoming books. But where can people find you?
They can find me at leaderrising.com. That's the business. My books, The Happy Lawyer, is on Amazon. The Successful Associate will be there too. It may also be available in other places. I haven't figured that out yet. And I have a blog, which is on carvanis.com. But, that's your mileage may vary on how much that lands with you.
Awesome. So, Palmo, thank you. And do you want to share your favorite Greek sentence with us?
Yeah. Δεν μιλάω ελληνικά.
I love it. Well, we'll have a beautiful day. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Bye.